Hey there, it's me. I am here with you to share another book review. I just started doing this and I am so pumped. I don't know about you if you're a reader or not, but books have changed my life ever since I began building the media company Farm Marketer and launching the Impact Farming Show. I have literally learned everything from books and podcasts and YouTube videos, but books have been big game changers for me. And they really contain all the information start to end in a way that's different than even podcasts and videos. If you're looking for a subject on a YouTube channel, it tends that it could be spread throughout a variety of videos, not in an order, maybe not in a playlist. So books usually contain the best of the best information all in one spot for the individual that's looking to learn and master a skill. So as they say, readers are leaders is the saying, and I really like it. Even in today's day and age where we can get information like that online podcasts, videos, I still go to books more often than not when I want to learn about something and master a skill. So today I'm going to share one that's not necessarily transition planning or agriculture related, but equally, if not more important, peaks and valleys. So as we all know, when we are a business owner, business and life has peaks and valleys, if we want to call it highs and lows. And as farmers, don't we know that probably more than anybody else? It's very cyclic, and a lot of things out of our control can come in and put our best laid plans to test, right? Or completely ruin them. So I'm also a business, so I'm a farmer and I own this media company. And as you go through your business and farming career, you go through some highs and lows and you learn. And whether you've been through it one time, two times, three times, four times, many, many times, it may not get easier, but you tend to know what to expect. Kind of been there, done that, although it's not fun. So I wanted to share a book that really impacted me. I, in my business, it can be cyclical as well, just like agriculture, because we are an agriculture media company. But the trends in advertising, it can go in cycles. So sometimes on the farm and in my media company, you do realize that there are peaks and valleys. And as much as we know that life in business has a rhythm, we have the highs, we have the lows, we have the peaks, we have the valleys. As much as we know that, it's easier said than done, especially when it affects our finances. And as business owners, you know, as much as they say business is business, keep it at home or keep it in the field or keep it in the pens, whatever it is, business and life tends to entwine itself when you're a farmer, right? And when things are naturally good on the farm and you're having high times, things are good. And no matter how much you tell yourself that there are cycles, when you reach those lows, we can't help but reach those lows sometimes mentally, right? It's frustrating, it's out of our control. And here on the show, I am here to help our audience have people and ideas and thoughts that will help them on their business, personally, mental health. And I find, obviously, as farmers, business owners, our mental health goes with the cycles of our businesses as well, right? When everything is going great and the market crashes, your bills don't go down, but the price goes down. We know how that is. So easier said than done. But what I wanted to share is this book. It doesn't fix the problem that grain prices have gone down, whatever's going on in life. But sometimes when you can read something that is moving and concise, it reminds you that the coulda, shoulda, woulda isn't necessarily a helpful game. And obviously, there are many farmers out there in the grain world that are going, right? And we're getting caught with low prices, high inputs, high land prices, high interest. And we're sitting here going, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And while a book doesn't make the world right and doesn't fix the finances, this little gem here helped me a lot when I was riding the low of a valley in different times throughout my business. It was interesting to go through and read this and just look at it a little bit differently and help remove the judgment, because I often say that mental health in agriculture, of course, how how do we how do we maintain our level of positivity when things have absolutely crashed? And we look at the financial burden, we look at all the stress on farmers' shoulders, mental health becomes an issue. And at the end of the day, how do we deal with it? So I'm going to read a few quotes from this book. And if you want something, it's a light, quick read. You can get it on Kindle. I actually started reading it on Kindle because I didn't want to wait. And it was so good that I ordered it a physical copy and, of course, put my little sticky notes in here. And it just moved me because there's a lot of judgment when we're the business owner and we made those decisions. And you're sitting here going, oh, coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And while we can learn lessons from the coulda, shoulda, woulda, after a certain point, it's not helpful and it's harmful to our mental health. At that point, we can't do anything. So this book really walks you through different ways to look at the peaks and valleys and different ways to use that time. And just for me, it helps mentally to release a bit of that heavy burden that business owners bear when things don't go according to best laid plans. So I want to read a few quotes and then I'll wrap up. But for me, as we roll into the end of the year when I record this and new year, probably when I release this, we also look at the hardest time for mental health. They always say it's in that January, end of January, when there is the highest number of depression cases and suicide. Of course, less light, less physical activity, probably sitting there looking at the financials, stewing on what went wrong, worrying about the future. I especially wanted to get this little gem in your hands for 10 bucks, 20 bucks, even if you're not a reader. It's an easy read. And I found myself going, oh, right. I just can't really put it into words, but here's a few quotes from here I'll share. It is natural for everyone, everywhere, to have peaks and valleys at work in life. Very straightforward. Peaks and valleys are not just the good times and the bad times that happen to you. They are also how you feel inside and respond to outside events. You cannot always control external events, but you can control your personal peaks and valleys by what you believe and what you do. And then the last one, peaks and valleys are connected. The errors you made in today's good times create tomorrow's bad times. And the wise things you do in today's bad times create tomorrow's good times. So really, it helps you refocus, relieve that burden, the coulda, shoulda, woulda. And the main point I want to drive home is every year we're gambling as farmers, right? We don't know what's to come. We do our best. You hope, you pray for rain, the markets, all of that stuff. But we really are the world's biggest gamblers as farmers. So the thought I want to leave you with as I leave you with this book that I sure hope you get, because you're probably going, how does a book going to make me feel better, Tracy? It really, truly just helps you think about things a little bit different. But the main thought I want to leave you with, because to me, mental health is super important. I cover it a lot on the show. Business is important. But at the end of the day, I care about you, the farmer, you and your farm, of course, but you are number one. The farm is secondary. If you had a bad year and finances are bad and you're in a bad spot, reach out to people for mental health or financial consulting, debt help. There's individuals everywhere to help. My main concern is you, the farmer, because at the end of the day, you are most important. So when you're sitting there going, coulda, shoulda, woulda, remember that at the moment you made each of those decisions that you made, seed variety, more grain, more land, machinery, you did the best that you could with the information you had at the moment. I've gone and put myself through the ringer in hindsight on decisions I've made because when we're sitting here now, we have different information. We can't attack ourselves for the decisions we made with the information we had there, right? So you did the best that you could with the information that you had on hand, the thought process you had, you did the best you could. And often our brain will go, well, you should have known better. Why did you buy that combine this year? You never know what the prices are going to be next year. Your brain's going to just put you through the ringer, right? Then I'm going to repeat to you, and this has helped me. When you work it all the way down, you did the best that you could with the information that you had at the moment. Your mindset, your bandwidth, your time, your energy, your money, your ability to see into the future that we don't have. Even if you're like, I shouldn't have bought it, you did the best that you could at that moment. Even if you're sitting here saying it's a wrong decision and you shouldn't have done it, you can't guilt yourself for a decision you made because chances are you didn't go, well, who cares? This is the worst decision I've ever making, but I'm going to do it anyways. We don't do it that way. Whether it's the right decision now or not, it doesn't matter. Let yourself off the hook because you did the best decision making at that moment in time with the commodity prices, the livestock prices, the time you had to make the decision, all the factors, your mindset, your bandwidth, your attention, your energy, you did the best that you could at that moment. And I think this is important because so often we make so many decisions as farmers with so many variables and with no real looking glass to what the future holds in terms of pricing. And when you can just go, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have bought that quarter of land. Well, you didn't know. Let yourself off the hook. And that is truly what this book is about. It's looking at the good times, the bad times, the decision making, the proper way to think about it. Because if you sit there and continue to rake yourself over the coals, like so many farmers do about decisions you made with the best of your ability at that time, but now have a different mindset, different outlook, you can't beat yourself up. Well, you can, but it's not helpful. So that's what I loved about this book because, again, without being a broken record, we have so many variables and we truly are gambling every year with each of the decisions we make. So at the end of the day, remember that you are most important. The farm, all of that is secondary. My favorite saying is everything is figure outable. So when we roll into the end of December, into January, and if you are just finding yourself in a place where you can't let go, where you're worried, stressed out, there's a lot of professionals that can help you with finances, debt consolidation, all of that good stuff. But if you want something to read that'll help you work through some of that coulda, shoulda, woulda, please grab this book. You can have it like this on Kindle, and I think it's quite a bit cheaper. And then order this one if you want to, and then mark off the parts of the book that really help you. And then anytime you go to the coulda, shoulda, woulda game, grab this book, open that page, read it, and say, yes, I did the best I can. And then continue on, seek help, seek professional services for whatever you need, but then do the typical thing. Next year is going to be better. Isn't that our favorite saying as farmers? But truly, this is a gem, and it has helped me work through some of those valleys in business that you can just sit there and stew about and waste time instead of going, okay, this happened. How do I process? How do I move on? And then carry on to a better year next year, we hope, right? I hope this helped. Some of these books have just changed my life dramatically, and I can't help but share them with our audience. If you're talking about things that might impact you, change the way you look at it, help you with your mental health, help you free up some of that guilt or worry so that you can start to focus on solutions versus the stewing on what happened, right? Because that's natural. As business owners, different personalities, you're tired after a hard season, you're worried. It's very easy to get stuck in the rut of coulda, shoulda, woulda, and then just stay there. And that is no good for our mental health, no good for you, and no good for your family, no good for your farm. And at the end of the day, you have to take care of you. And this book will just help you look at things a little bit different. Anyways, I hope this helps. Drop a note, send me a message if it does. I truly think this can help a lot of people out there, especially, hey, the peaks are great, but we know the valleys are challenging. And if you're going through a valley, this might be a game changer for you. Hope it helps. See you next week. Bye-bye.